Hello, everybody. Welcome back to BBB Sharing. This is Josh, and I'm here with David. How are you doing?
Fantastic.
Good. What is your last name again?
Turner.
Turner. I was about to say, but I just didn't want to say it and get it wrong. But you're here with Richmond Irrigation. Tell me a little bit about what you do.
So Richmond Irrigation specializes in irrigation service. We focus on maintaining systems that are already built. We do a little bit of construction work and a little bit of building, but our primary focus is focusing on systems, established systems, and maintaining and getting the most health out of those.
Okay, I see what you mean. And then is it all mostly like residential, commercial?
We do a mix. We pride ourselves on residential service. We have a little over 3,500 reoccurring residential customers that come back to us year over year through maintenance services. Maintenance agreements is how we characterize them.
Okay.
We do startups, winterizations, inspection visits, and then on each of those occurrences, if we see a deviation from normal, we'll point it out and hopefully get it fixed for you.
Okay. What would be like a deviation? Like, what do you guys look for?
So we categorize it in critical components and then laterals and heads. And most folks are very familiar with the outcome of irrigation. It sprays water. But there's a lot of hidden components that are buried behind that make it function optimally. So on the deviations can range from there's a head in a location that may be blocked by a fence, a new fence that was installed, sometime since the last time we were there, or bushes and shrubbery grows. We may recommend moving that head a foot or two, or maybe there's a bare area in your yard that the initial installers didn't recognize, or maybe you cleared a couple trees out, and you planted some turf, and you need some new irrigation in that area. So we look for dry spots, we look for obstructions to water flow, and make head adjustments accordingly. The second side of that is the critical components. So those are the buried components that are hidden. Sometimes the initial installation craftsmanship is it's rushed at times. So we come through and try to clean that up as those things occur. Sticking valves, control wire issues, controllers that were the initial install, but maybe you like a little bit more. Maybe you want to control it on your smartphone, or you want to control it, have it respond to weather conditions, so we can upgrade those.
Okay. For someone who wants to keep their irrigation system maintained, like how often should they keep it checked up on?
So our premier package, we call it an enhanced package, is about a 45-day interval. So we'll do a startup in the spring, typically between April and May. Sometimes some folks like to start a little earlier, some folks like to start a little later, and then every 45 days after that, we'll come out and do an inspection.
Okay.
And then winterize in mid-October, sometimes all the way up till Thanksgiving.
Okay. I would think definitely towards the winter. I feel like a lot of things get frozen, or like a lot of stuff needs more maintenance towards the winter time.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Winterization is an important. Most backflow devices are outside, and we encourage them to be outside. They intentionally relieve water when they're doing their function, when they're doing their job. So those devices, by code, are required to be above grade, varying heights for the different style of devices, but still above grade and exposed to freeze. So we like to get them winterized and avoid that from occurring. That's one of the most expensive components of an irrigation system to replace.
Tell me the main reason for irrigation, because every time I think of irrigation, agriculture usually goes hand in hand in my head.
It does, and the main reason for irrigation is the turf species, the most common turf species in the Richmond area and in Virginia in general. We're kind of in that transition zone. You can get by with warm season grass, but it's not going to be particularly prominent in the spring and the fall. It's only going to look good in the summer. Cool season grass, like tall fescue, is a very common species in the mid-Atlantic area.
You're talking about different types of grass?
Different types of grass.
Okay.
And those different types of grass need different conditions. So the watering schedule for like a warm season grass, it really only needs water when it's growing, when it's green and growing. Fescue needs to keep it green in the summer. It requires quite a bit of water for the consumption that it is going through, it's being stressed, and also there's some cooling aspects to irrigating to keep the soil temperature a little bit cool, evaporative cooling. So you're applying some water in the summer to also offset that. In addition to what it needs to grow and flourish, it's designed for, it likes cool weather.
Yeah.
So we do our best to keep the soil conditions to the point where it is less stressful on the turf grass.
Okay. No, that makes sense, especially just having to water, especially during the summer. You'll water it, it'll grow like super, super high, depending. Yeah. I mean, what made you want to do this?
So my brother actually started Richmond Irrigation. He started as a man in a truck and grew it into a pretty good-sized, healthy organization. My background is not irrigation at all. Most of the aspects of irrigation, I default to my staff, my managers, and those folks. I came in about 4 years ago, 3.5, 4 years ago. My background is nuclear. Nothing to do with irrigation at all. I saw an opportunity to provide this service to more folks and kind of grow it. And I left the corporate world, the industrial world of nuclear, and jumped headlong into irrigation.
Knew nothing about it, just kind of went for it.
I did, and I learned a lot about it very quickly. And to be fair, it's fluid hydraulics and electrical controls. I mean, those are familiar territories for me. Mm-hmm. Just the application of them is different.
Yeah, I was about to ask you what type of like connections could you make with like your your nuclear field and irrigation? Mm-hmm. Is it usually just like the mechanical components?
It is. It's the technical aspects of it, and some of that is starting to reveal itself in our processes and our signature components, like valves, for example. One of the hidden components that you see, we've made a dramatic change to those. We now the traditional method of installing a irrigation valve is an inline valve, and I don't want to complicate the technical side of it, but we found vulnerabilities with that. Mm-hmm. But we were revisiting properties because the initial configuration wasn't optimal. Pipe too shallow, valves or the valve box is crushing the pipe in the nearby. So we migrated to a product offering that solves all those. It's pre-manufactured in our shop facility, so it gets the quality controls are much increased. We can test them before they go out to the field, and then they're installed in a configuration that it doesn't solve it for the whole system. It's not going to solve a depth problem for the whole system, but locally to the valve where it is most vulnerable and one of the most important components, we've solved it there.
Really? Yeah. Oh my God! What was are you able to talk about what the problem was and how you guys figured it out?
Yeah, mostly the problem is consistent craftsmanship, and a lot of times the tradesmen are tempted to restore things back to their original condition. That's the easiest solution, is to get it back to original. And we sought a solution that kind of forces them to not do that. Like it forces their hands to go deeper. And we use a bottom inlet valve instead of a side inlet valve. So it promotes all the characteristics that make it more reliable. It promotes consistent installation of those, in addition to the reliability upgrades that we had and the serviceability upgrade. It brings it higher in the box. So the next time we have to visit that property, if they have a valve issue in the future, and that's reality, nothing lasts forever. You got to put new tires on the cars, and you got to change toilet flappers in your toilet. It's reality. It's
something that just happens.
It's a mechanical component. It's going to experience wear. We intend to make it more serviceable the next time we come back to it. So certainly you're going to pay around $350 to get a valve replaced, but you won't have to pay $350 next time. The next time it will be serviceable. We can rebuild it, change the internals out, and for about half the price, we can restore your system. Yeah,
I think that's very good. Just being able to take experiences that you had and like kind of just kind of getting everyone together, being like, how can we figure this problem not just for us, but also kind of helps the consumer as well, and just at a cheaper price too. So yeah, that was really good. I mean, is there anything else that you wanted to say?
No, I appreciate the opportunity. This is very unique for me.
Yeah,
first podcast ever, so I was a little timid about it, but I appreciate the opportunity.
You did great, I promise.
That's
It's always
excellent.
good talking to you.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah. If you guys need anything, make sure you do guys drive safely, and make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Ignite Sparked by BBB Central Virginia. Check us out on LinkedIn, BBB Serving Central VA. You guys have a good rest of your day, okay? Bye-bye.